I'm moving. What's poppin', guys? Peace. It's your boy Jay. That's me. Let's dive into Monday Night Raw for April the 24th, 2023. This show, for the most part, was okay. Triple H's announcement was solid. And the dissension between the bloodline, that's continuing here. And Damien Priest versus Bad Bunny in a street fight. That's cool. Other than those three things I mentioned on the show was kind of dry. So we kicked the show off with Cody Rhodes. He gets from the mic. He asked everybody what they want to talk about. He said that we could talk about the draft and how he could end up on either Raw or SmackDown, or his upcoming match with Brock Lesnar. He gives Brock some praise for combat sports accomplishments and says that's ironic, as Brock waited to get the drop on him when his back was turned. And then we see stills of the attack from a few weeks ago by Lesnar. Cody then shows us everything else. Cody says he wants to show us something else. He takes off his tie and his shirt and tosses it into the crowd. So we see his torn pec, and he comments on being in Chicago since the Hell in a Cell match, and he worked with the injury against Seth Rollins, which he hasn't watched back, and Cody says there's a reason for that. Cody gets fired up and tells Lesnar to pick a spot and add another scar. He says Lesnar hasn't learned anything from this scar. Cody says he didn't do anything that night. He just had a sold-out arena prop him up on their shoulders and carry him to the finish line as he was in so much pain. And then Cody gives a big thanks to Chicago. Then he's interrupted by Finn Balor of Judgment Day. So Balor says, we all have scars, but that's not why he's here. Finn Balor knows that Cody got screwed against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and he knows how that feels. Finn says Cody got screwed because he had no one to watch his back, which was technically true, but not really, because he had Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, but that really didn't really amount to anything at all. That was just to get them over for WrestleMania Night 1. Wink, wink, nod, nod. So Finn knows that's why Cody picked Lesnar to team with. But he trusted the wrong man and needs to be smarter, like Finn Balor. So Finn says Cody can't win a match against Lesnar, not on his own. Cody interrupts and thought there was an immense respect here, but he's only thinking about Lesnar. So whatever Finn is telling, he's not buying. Finn says Cody and the Judgment Day would be unstoppable, and we all know it. Finn says Cody made a mistake at WrestleMania, so he shouldn't make one at Backlash. Finn goes on praising his stablements, and then a "You Suck" chant breaks out. So Cody couldn't hear them, so they had to repeat the chant. Cody says he won't be joining the group, so he must decline. Finn says this is a real pity, a real shame, because either you're with the Judgment Day or you're against us. Finn says watch your back, because someday he'll slap the bleach off of Cody's head. Cody smiles at Finn, and Finn is about to leave. Then Cody brings up how he wasn't medically cleared to compete, but he was cleared 3 hours ago, and he can't think of a better way to send a message to Lesnar than against Finn Balor tonight. And that's how we set up the match later on in the show. Okay, I'm fine with this. This makes sense. They've already faced before anyway. It doesn't really matter. But then again, you can't just waste these two guys like this and not have any stakes on the line. Because why? Balor's going to look like a clown. We all know Cody has to win, and he won anyway. So this, to me, was a waste of time. Nothing on the line here. But it is what it is. Moving on. First match tonight, the Bloodline versus Legado del Fantasma, a.k.a. the Latino World Order. So, the Usos, they get the win here via the one and done. And Cruz del Toro takes the pin. Or was that Joaquin Wilde? Yeah, it was Joaquin Wilde who got pinned. He ate a vicious Samoan spike from Solo Sikoa. He was coming off the top rope trying to do something. Solo hit the Samoan spike in midair, and then the Usos did the 1D for the 1-2-3. Again, this isn't looking good for the Latino World Order. And I keep predicting that they will turn heel, which is going to make the most damn sense. Because eventually that's all it does. Once you lose enough, you're going to get frustrated and snap. So, post-match, Jay gets on the mic and says, the longest reigning tag team champions had one bad night at WrestleMania 39. They let the Bloodline down. They let Roman Reigns down. But guess what? Jimmy declares they'll win back the tag titles on SmackDown. And they are dedicating their win to Roman Reigns. And then they drop the mic. So, we all know this is just teasing further Bloodline dissension. We know that they're not going to win come Friday. And again, Roman Reigns should have already laid down the law to them and put the fear of God in them weeks ago when they lost. This does not make sense at all. It's been 3.5 weeks now. It just doesn't make any sense. Moving on. Kathy Kelly, she's backstage with Bianca Belair. She told her that her match with Io Sky is made official and it's going to take place at Backlash. So Bianca said she's excited, as Io has proven she's a worthy competitor. But she's said before she's ready, so she don't have to get ready. I mean, she stays ready. She wants to get ready. So then Damage Control, they interrupt. Bayley taunts Bianca and goes on about how she can't hang with a competitor like Io Sky. Io Sky interrupts and begins to talk to Bianca in Japanese. Bayley says Io wants to fight Bianca tonight. Bianca says she's down, but Bayley informs her it'll be her and Damage Control versus whichever two idiots you want to team up with Bianca. Bianca wanted to face Sky, but she said that's okay. And then Bayley taunts Bianca some more, and then everyone walks off. And then everyone rolls their eyes at Bianca. Okay, I'm fine with this, I guess. This does make sense. I'm glad that they're actually doing this at Backlash and not on Raw. So I do think it'll be fine. So, more Bloodline stuff. So Jay, he's backstage on the phone with somebody, probably either Roman Reigns or Paul Heyman, informing them that the Bloodlines went over the LWO. Jay finishes the call and sees Sami Zayn, who's watching him from afar. Jay asks Sami what he wants. Sami says he's not here for a fight. Sami can't believe that the Usos are dedicating their potential title win to Roman Reigns and not doing it for themselves. Sami says he and Kevin Owens are not losing the tag titles. So what will happen with Roman when the Usos lose? Sami says it won't be good and the Usos don't deserve that. Jay asks Sami why he cares, and Sami says he feels bad. Jay tells him not to, and don't worry about what's going on over here. You made your choice, and like it or not, I did too. And then Jay dips out. So, I like this. Again, Sami Zayn's a little bit worried, but again, this all makes sense. I kind of wish that once this is done come Friday, that we don't see Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and the Usos for quite some time. Seriously. At this point, just keep Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens on Raw. That's what I would do. I mean, even though they have 2 championship belts, have them float against, both shows for now. But for right now, keep them on Raw. Seriously, keep them on Raw. Moving on. Trish Stratus, she's backstage with Kathy Kelly. So Trish is asked if she has any insight on onto why Becky Lynch isn't here again this week. Trish says she has a little secret. Becky is not doing good right now. She previously confided in Trish and said she's having a hard time being at the top of the women's division, while also bringing the men and the mom in at once. Trish says she has these things going on in her own life, but she's thriving, unlike Becky Lynch. Trish saw Becky Lynch cracking under pressure and decided to take her out of her misery. She says Becky should be sitting at home watching and saying, "Thank you, Trish." So then Kathy Kelly, she thanks Trish for her time, and Trish says that Kathy gets it. So, again, this is okay, but nobody's really going to boo Trish Stratus. Moving on. The Street Profits versus Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. Street Profits win via the Frog Splash. Just went on about maybe 3 minutes, and that was it. Hopefully during the draft, we can move Cedric and Shelton over to NXT. That would be nice. Next, Triple H's big announcement. So Triple H says, as a WWE superstar, he had an incredible privilege of competing in front of fans, standing in the ring at WrestleMania 22, and to defend the WWE Championship against one of the greatest of all time, John Cena. And now he has incredible privilege of assuring WWE is all it can be for generations going forward, which is why he's here to talk about Roman Reigns. Triple H points to how Roman is coming up on 1,000 days as champion. He calls the milestone incredible and is unheard of in the modern era, and then comments on how Roman has retained over some of the best, and after being in the business for 30 years, he can't think of how many can hang in the ring with Roman. Reigns is that damn good. Triple H says these 1,000 days, Roman did something very smart. He negotiated himself into a position where he didn't have to defend the title that frequently. The fans begin to boo. Triple H doesn't blame Roman, and while that's good for Roman, it's not good for WWE as the company. The fans deserve better. Triple H says fans need more than that, which is why he previously said the WWE draft will change the WWE at its very core. He says when Roman gets drafted, to whichever brand he goes to, he'll take his current title with him and stay there, while the other brand will determine a new champion. Triple H announces that there will be, that they will crown a new WWE champion at Night of Champions, May 27th in Saudi Arabia, and then he unveils the new version of the Big Gold Belt, which is really nice. I like it. So Triple H says this will be a champion that you can be proud of, you can respect and admire, one that will defend anywhere, any place, anytime, all over the world. He says this champion will not have to demand your acknowledgement. This champion will earn your acknowledgement and will earn the title of World Heavyweight Champion. And then the fans pop, and Triple H thanks everybody, and then he dips out. So I do like this. This is interesting. This, to me, was tailor-made for Seth Rollins, and this actually makes sense because we all know that Cody is going to more than likely go to SmackDown. This is where all of your Bloodline stuff is going to finish up. Same thing with Judgment Day. So all that's going to go over to SmackDown. I would assume Imperium's going to come over to Raw, and a couple other people from there as well. The Brawling Brutes, McIntyre. So this actually makes a lot of sense, and this was a wise decision here. We know that Cody is going to SmackDown. This is a no-brainer. Moving on. So Kathy Kelly, she's backstage with Judgment Day. So Finn asked Priest if he's invisible, as Kathy just wants to speak with Damien Priest. Priest tells Finn to go get ready for his match. Kathy asks Damien Priest how Bunny being on Raw tonight. Priest thinks it's great he's here to promote his role as Backlash host. Damien Priest comments on Bad Bunny's music success and says he had some WWE success when Priest had his back. Priest says he doesn't go to Coachella to get in on Bunny's business, so he shouldn't do the same to Priest tonight. Dominic says Bad Bunny can watch Priest take care of his deadbeat dad. So I do like this. Pretty good stuff here. Really good shit. What's also good shit is Bronson Reed, how they're giving us solid video packages of him for the past couple weeks. Big shout out to Jeremy Borash. So, Bronson Reed, he says that he sees no one who can compete with him. No one is as strong, as fast, or as powerful. They all worry about being popular, but Bronson Reed just wants to win and beat people until no one is left. He tells them to keep posting for selfies and kissing babies because no one can measure up with him. Okay, I like it. I can dig it. Kicks ass. I can dig it. Damage Control versus Bianca Belair and Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. So the champions win here. Bianca wins via the KOD on Bayley, further causing more dissension between Damage Control, and they're going to get split come the draft. I would personally split up Damage Control. I would put Io as a singles, Bayley as a singles, and Dakota Kai, put her as a single as well. I would put Dakota Kai back on NXT. I'm not gonna hold you up. She's the least over of the three. I'm just being honest. And also, Io as a babyface could rule, and Bayley as a babyface can rule as well. So you could put Io on Raw, keep her there, and you could put Bayley on SmackDown. I'm just hoping that they treat NXT right, because you just can't take a bunch of talent and not replenish that talent. That ain't good business at all. So hopefully they end up doing that. Post-match, Bianca stared down Io Sky and she yelled at Bianca in Japanese. Moving on, Austin Theory's up next. He says this is the true experience, just as Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed, who both just won a piece. He goes on about where it's his respect. He points to the new World Heavyweight Championship on display at ringside and says Triple H should be putting it around his waist because he already deserves it. How? Because you beat John Cena? That doesn't mean a damn thing at all. It means nothing. Austin Theory is as cold as ice. He's super cold. But instead, he has to compete in a triple threat. He doesn't have to even be pinned or lose the title. Theory says he's the guy who pinned John Cena at WrestleMania 39. And in Theory, then the fans chant, "You tapped out" to Austin Theory. Austin Theory disagrees, and then he insults the fans some more. Bobby Lashley thankfully comes out. Lashley says his only problem with Theory is that Theory is holding his title. Lashley asks when is Theory going to start stepping up and accepting all challenges and not running away from what he should be running to? Lastly, he says Theory is young and tough, and so it is. So what is it? Are you lazy or just scared? So Theory begins to mouth back at him. Lashley says Austin Theory should be welcoming all opportunities to defend the title because Lashley would. Lashley reveals that he was the one who asked for the triple threat match. Austin Theory says if it's that easy for Lashley to get matches, well, where was his WrestleMania 39 match? Lashley said he should knock Theory's teeth down his throat for saying that. And then a brawl ensued between the two. And then Bronson Reed comes into play. Him and Theory, they take out Bobby Lashley. And then Theory does an A-Town down to Lashley. And then Bronson Reed clotheslines Austin Theory and hits a Samoan drop into the tsunami. And he stands tall with the U.S. title. So I do like that. That's probably where they're going to go because you probably are going to use Lashley in the tournament for the WWE Championship. The World Heavyweight Championship. So that's probably where Lashley is going to go. Same thing with Austin Theory. So you probably already have two names that you can potentially see in there. So Elias and Rick Boogs, they're backstage from earlier on. Boogs is stressed over the WWE draft and said everything else is going on. So Chad Gable, he walks up and explains to Boogs how the draft works and how tag teams can be split up. Gable says he should be drafted next to Otis, who walks up. Gable says the Alpha Academy will remain intact. Maxine Dupree walks up and says she made sure she goes wherever Otis goes. Chad Gable and Maxine, they argue over who has Otis as the number one guy. Mustafa Ali interrupts and says that they all need to have more of a positive mentality. He says he knows Chad Gable is worried, but if Gable splits from Otis, now he can finally reach his own potential and become the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Yeah, right. And Ali says, but that would mean the end of... that would be the end of Chad's life as he knows it. And actually, he'd be a loser without Otis. Like, he'd be a loser in tonight's match. Gable then shushes Ali with a shush. And now Otis defends Gable to Ali, saying Gable is going to show Mustafa Ali a shakedown tonight. And then Ali says he's positively Ali sure they made a mistake. That leads us into Chad Gable versus Mustafa Ali every damn week. Mustafa Ali gets the win here via a roll-up. So I'm fine with this. Who really cares? Again, put Mustafa Ali on NXT. That would make the most sense. And you can keep Gable on Raw and put Otis to SmackDown. That's what I would do. Sami Zayn is confronted by Jimmy Uso. So, Jimmy says he knows what he's trying to do. Jimmy's confident that the Usos will win their titles back. Jimmy brings up Sami's recent history with Kevin Owens and says Owens used to get him to get the gold. When they lose on Friday, Owens will turn on him again, and Jimmy says Sami will deserve every bit of it. Jimmy tells Sami to worry about himself and not the bloodline. Okay. More dissension. And Jimmy is 1,000% incorrect. We all know that Sami and KO are going to retain come Friday. Next match. Finn Balor versus Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes wins via Crossroads. This was a good match, though. It was solid. I enjoyed it for the most part. Next, Seth Rollins. He's out next. Rollins says he's the revolutionary. He's the visionary, the revolutionary. He's Seth freaking Rollins. Rollins says he was going to come out and ask Chicago how they feel about his Backlash match with Omos. But if you can believe it, something bigger has caught his eye. Rollins looks out at the WWE World Heavyweight Championship title on display. Fans chant, "You deserve it." Rollins walks up and asks if Chicago is thinking what he's thinking. He recalls hearing Triple H say nice things about Roman Reigns earlier tonight and mentioning people Roman has defeated in his current reign. But you know who's not on that list? Rollins says Roman wants you to think that everyone wants what he has and wants to be him, but the truth is some of us still want to fight, and this new title is an opportunity for us to fight and to push the industry forward and to have a new World Heavyweight title. It's more about than politics and part-timers. Rollins says if a new champion is going to be crowned WWE United Champions, he'll give you one guess who he will put this money on. Put his money on. So MVP comes out along with Omos. MVP apologized for the interruption and praises Rollins as one of the best to grace a WWE ring. So, MVP praises Rollins' accomplishments some more, but he knocks his fashion choices. MVP says that Omos getting a win over Rollins would be huge. With all due respect, MVP cautions Rollins about making statements on his future because he might not have much of a future after the Nigerian giant is done with him at Backlash. So Rollins begins to look up at Omos. Omos steps a little bit closer. Seth Rollins says, "Well, thank you." And then the fans sing his theme song. Rollins says Chicago should thank MVP for the kind words, but to be honest, he kind of undersold his giant. Rollins says Omos is not just huge, he's the tallest giant he's ever seen in his life. Rollins goes on and says Omos is one in a generation because he was born that way. Seth freaking Rollins is one in a generation because he's made himself that way. The fans pop. Rollins says he should be afraid of Omos, but he's not. And at Backlash, he'll do what he does best. Make Omos famous by giving him the match of his life and then bouncing his big head on the off the canvas. And then Omos will make up from his 3-second nap, and the arena will sing Rollins' song. And then the fans sing a song, and then Rollins dips out. And then both of them stare each other down. Okay. That's fine. That's interesting. Very, very interesting. Matt Riddle, he's backstage with Kevin Owens. So, he's talking to Kevin Owens about a strategy for Backlash. Sami Zayn walks in. So, a frantic Kevin Owens asks where he's been all night. Sami mentions seeing Jey Uso, and Owens can't understand why he keeps talking to these people. Owens ends up walking off in frustration. Riddle tells Sami that he knows exactly what he's going through. Sami says, how could he possibly understand? Riddle talks about being an RK bro and being bros with Randy Orton. Just like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are bros. Riddle says everything will be alright. Sami thanks Riddle, and then everyone dips out. And then the main event. Rey Mysterio versus Damien Priest. Mysterio wins via disqualification. Damien Priest brings in a chair. Bad Bunny comes out late in the match. He comes on the ramp with a kendo stick. He beats the living shit out of Damien Priest with that. And then he is on the announce table while Damien Priest is on the ramp. Bad Bunny gets on the mic and says that he's done being the host of Backlash. He's now going to get revenge and kick Damien Priest's ass. And he said it's going to be Priest versus Bad Bunny at Backlash in a street fight. And the fans pop, and that's how we go off the air. So, this is decent. I'm fine with this. This is very, very interesting. I'm very intrigued by this because we know Bad Bunny can go, but this is probably going to be fun. This is going to be fun. And this probably will steal the show. For sure. And I'm looking forward to this. I really am. Raw was okay. That's just what it was. It was alright. It could have been a lot better, but it was okay. So, I just hope that the draft was going to be solid this coming Friday and next Monday. And hopefully, things change. The new championship looks solid. I've already made my pick that Seth Rollins is going to be the one to win that for sure. So, yeah. What did you guys think? Please hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and comment down below. And subscribe to my videos. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.